The forest dreams in stillness before dawn, a hush heavy with dew and heartbeat. Then it begins, a crack, a hiss, the whisper of flame, consuming leaf and air. The jungle exhales smoke. Birds burst skyward, panicked cries shredding the morning calm. Beneath the rising heat, the earth trembles, roots snap, insects flee, and in the orange gloom something ancient stirs. A tiger, muscles rippling beneath a fading coat of gold, halts mid-stride. Her breath fogs in the smoke, her eyes narrow. Fire dances in the distance, but her ears are tuned not to flame, to something smaller, softer, lost. As the world burns, she does not run. She listens. The wind carries a single note of sound, faint, broken, a cub's cry swallowed by the inferno. The fire advances like a living predator, and for a moment, time holds its breath before the hunt begins. The fire no longer whispers. It roars, a beast unleashed. The forest, once alive with song, collapses into a single sound, the relentless crackle of dying wood. Trees fall like soldiers, their crowns ignited by wind-driven sparks. The animals flee in a desperate exodus. Deer, boar, langurs, a tide of fur and terror. Asha runs with them, muscles coiled in instinctive panic, yet her stride falters with each bound. Her chest heaves with confusion. Her ears twist backward toward the inferno behind. There, through the heat-distorted air, comes that cry again. Faint, sharp, unforgettable. Something inside her fractures. The others surge forward, but she stops. Amidst the chaos, a stillness grips her. She turns her head toward the fire, and though every law of life demands escape, her eyes are already searching for the path back. The fire devours the forest's breath. Rivers of smoke pour from the canopy, staining the sky an unnatural orange. Asha moves along the edge of ruin, pacing through shadows and flame, her body painted in moving light. The air is thick. Every inhale scorches. Every exhale trembles. Far above, vultures circle, their silhouettes drifting like black prayers over a dying world. She stops at the remnants of her den, a hollow beneath a fallen tree, now shrouded in smoke. The earth still holds her scent, the cub's warmth faint but lingering. She lowers her head, nostrils flaring, and the realization cuts deep. He was here. The fire took him, or maybe not yet. She raises her head, eyes glinting through the haze, and lets out a low, broken growl that vanishes into the roar of flame. Far off, Mira and Arjun race their jeep along a dirt track swallowed in flames reflection. The radio crackles with evacuation orders, but Mira's gaze is fixed on the thermal monitor. One red blot moving against the flow. A tiger, she mutters. Arjun's knuckles whiten around the wheel. Through the haze, they glimpse her. Asha, alone, standing before the wall of fire as though facing an enemy. She's not running. Mira whispers, disbelief trembling in her voice. The ranger's jaw tightens. He knows the look in that animal's eyes. It's not confusion, it's choice. Behind them, the jungle collapses in waves of smoke, and somewhere within, a cub's cry fractures the static once more. Asha steps forward, disappearing into the fire's heart. The humans can only watch, powerless, as instinct yields to love. The forest becomes a cathedral of ruin. Smoke coils through the air like incense. Every flame bends in unseen wind. Within that furnace, Asha moves, not as prey or predator, but as memory embodied. Each step forward erases another piece of the world she once ruled. Her whiskers glow with embers. Her breath hisses against heat that blisters bark and bone alike. Around her, trees fall in thunderous surrender, sending shock waves through the ground. The cub's faint cry draws her deeper until sound becomes her compass and fear her fuel. She pushes through a curtain of falling ash and vanishes into molten dusk. Above, a single leaf, blackened but unburned, drifts downward, the last fragment of what was. The forest watches her go, and even the fire seems to hesitate. Inside the fire's belly, time unravels. Every sound folds into a deeper hum, like the pulse of the earth itself struggling to breathe. Asha moves through it, a ghost of flame and muscle. Her fur shimmers between gold and black, each step leaving prints that smolder before fading. Around her, the forest is unrecognizable. Trunks split open like wounds, leaves melt into cinders midair. Yet within the inferno, she walks with a strange calm, guided by memory alone. The world narrows to scent, the faint sweetness of milk, the dry tang of singed fur, the trace of her cub that the fire has not erased. In the distance, a branch collapses, and through the smoke she catches a flicker of movement. Small, alive, terrified. The forest burns, but her heart burns brighter. The cub's scent grows stronger. Asha presses forward through a labyrinth of fallen trunks. Firelight carves lines across her face. Not of fear, but of resolve. Her lungs ache, her eyes sting, yet her stride remains sure. The fire seems to part around her, reluctant to touch what carries purpose. Beneath a shattered fig tree, a cry answers her low growl. For a heartbeat, she freezes. The sound is real, close. She lunges forward, clearing debris with claws that spark against stone. The smoke thickens. Her vision blurs. The cry repeats, weaker now. She lowers her head and pushes into a hollow formed between charred roots. The air within glows dim and red. A fragile world between life and death. Somewhere inside, something stirs. The hollow breathes heat and silence. Asha lowers herself, muscles trembling. There, curled beneath a half-burned branch, lies Ravi, motionless but alive. His fur is singed at the tips, his chest rising in quick, shallow bursts. Asha's eyes soften. She presses her nose to his flank, inhaling what the fire could not steal. He stirs faintly, a whimper escaping. For a moment, everything else vanishes. No smoke, no flame, only the sound of two hearts finding each other again. But outside, the inferno shifts. The wind roars, and the roots above ignite. Sparks fall like stars around them. She stands over him, her body forming a shield as the hollow becomes a furnace. The reunion is not salvation. It's a beginning of another fight. Above the burning ridge, Mira and Arjun move through choking haze on foot. Their equipment crackles with static. Visibility is almost gone. Arjun signals to retreat, but Mira shakes her head. Through the thermal lens, she sees them. Two faint shapes, one large, one small, surrounded by heat. She found him, she whispers. The ranger swears softly, disbelief breaking his voice. Around them, the forest moans, the sound of life unraveling. Mira lowers her camera. Her eyes glisten behind the soot. No one will believe this, she says, yet neither look away. Down below, Asha lifts her cub by the scruff and steps into the blinding orange light, carrying him toward whatever remains of tomorrow. The forest's edge is a battlefield of smoke and silence. Asha emerges slowly, her cub dangling from her jaws, his small eyes blinking through soot. Every step she takes leaves a print glowing faintly against the charred ground. Above them, ash falls like snow, the first quiet in hours. Behind, the fire still rages, devouring the last of her world. She pauses at the threshold where flame meets night, lowers Ravi gently onto the earth, and looks back once. In that look lives everything the forest once was, its peace, its violence, its children. The wind shifts. She turns away, guiding him into the dark safety beyond. The blaze swells behind them but cannot follow. For now, love has outlasted fire. Night no longer falls. It burns. The sky hangs low and crimson, heavy with ash and memory. Asha walks in silence through the ghost of her world, Ravi padding weakly beside her, each step stirring clouds of glowing dust. The ground pulses with trapped heat. Every breath scrapes her lungs raw. Yet in the chaos, her movements are calm, deliberate, as if guided by a rhythm older than fire itself. She stops beside a pool where rain once gathered. Now it steams with reflected flame. The cub leans close, eyes wide, and Asha touches her muzzle to the water's trembling surface. The reflection fractures into gold and black, mother and cub distorted by a world reborn in ruin. Above them, sparks drift like false stars across a dying sky. The wind shifts, sudden, furious, bending flame into a single monstrous wave. Asha's ears flatten as she thrusts Ravi toward the crevice of two fallen rocks. She plants herself before him, body low, muscles tense, tail sweeping embers from the ground. The wall of fire surges closer, hissing like a predator denied. Her breath comes in ragged bursts, eyes reflecting its molten heart. Then she roars, not in fear, but in defiance. The sound tears through the air, primal and sorrowful, echoing off charred stone like a vow spoken to gods, long forgotten. The flames recoil, scattering sparks in a golden storm. For a heartbeat, she becomes both creature and legend, the fire's equal, forged in its image. Miles away, Mira and Arjun reach the ridge's edge, boots sinking into black ash. The air is thick with smoke and silence. Mira raises her binoculars, scanning the glowing horizon. "There," she murmurs, voice trembling, a moving shadow against the inferno. Arjun steps beside her, disbelief etched across his soot-streaked face. "She's walking through it," he says softly. The camera in Mira's hands quivers, the image blurring through rising heat. For a moment, the silhouette of Asha and Ravi becomes one with the fire. Form and flame inseparable, beauty and destruction intertwined. Mira lowers the lens, unable to speak. Arjun looks skyward, and in the hollow quiet that follows, even the fire seems to bow. In the forest's heart, silence returns. Not peace, but exhaustion. Charred trunks stand like monuments to what once lived. Asha leads Ravi through the wasteland, her paws leaving prints that smoke faintly in cooling ash. The cub stumbles, coughing. She stops, turning toward him. Her breath glows in the dark, faintly golden, and she presses her head against his. Around them, the forest exhales steam, the breath of something vast in pain. Overhead, the moon pushes through the veil of smoke, pale and merciful. In that light, the pair rest, framed by ruin yet untouched by defeat. The night, for the first time, listens. Rain arrives before dawn, hesitant, tender. The first drop lands on Asha's muzzle, sizzling softly. Then another, and another, until the forest becomes a symphony of steam and relief. The fire withdraws, reduced to murmurs beneath the rhythm of falling water. Asha rises, lifting Ravi by the scruff, and steps into the cooling drizzle. Ash runs in rivulets down her fur. The black earth gleams anew. She sets him down and looks back once to the forest that raised her and the fire that remade her. In her eyes burns not fear, but remembrance. As dawn breaks, the rain grows heavier, and mother and cub vanish into the gray light, swallowed by the quiet return of life. Morning rises pale and gray over the wounded forest. The fire has passed, leaving behind a landscape that feels both sacred and forsaken. Steam coils from the ground, carrying the scent of wet ash and burnt sap. Asha moves cautiously, every step slow and deliberate, her paws sinking into the soft earth. Ravi trails close, eyes wide at the silence that follows destruction. Birds are gone. The air is heavy with ghosts. Asha pauses near a fallen banyan, tilts her head and listens. not for danger, but for life. Somewhere beneath the wreckage, the forest still breathes. Her ears twitch toward the faint rustle of a stream reclaiming its path. She exhales softly, and in that breath, the first seed of survival begins to stir. Far beyond the ridge, Mira and Arjun pick their way through the scorched undergrowth, masks tight against the lingering smoke. Each step sinks into mud mixed with char. The forest is unrecognizable, a skeletal labyrinth of memory. Mira stops beside a half-burned log, brushing away soot to reveal tiger tracks, still warm. Her heart jolts. She made it, she murmurs. Arjun kneels beside her, eyes scanning the horizon. Then the cub's alive too. The realization hangs between them like fragile hope. Around them, the air hums faintly. The sound of rain returning, dripping from blackened leaves. In that moment, the silence feels less like death and more like waiting. Asha leads Ravi toward the heart of the forest scar, a clearing once thick with grass and prey, now hollowed to black glass. The cub hesitates, his paws unsure on the brittle soil. She nudges him forward, her flank brushing his side, teaching courage through touch. A fallen tree blocks their way, roots exposed and glistening like veins. She climbs over it effortlessly, turns and waits until he follows. Overhead, the first bird returns, a lone myna cutting through the silence with a trembling note. It's not song, but signal. The world has begun again, one sound at a time. The tigress tilts her head toward the sky, rain pooling on her whiskers, and moves on. In the control camp, Mira studies satellite imagery of the burn zone, patches of red and gray scattered like bruises across the map. Her eyes trace the contours of what was once habitat, now rendered into static and sorrow. No movement in Sector 4, a voice reports. She zooms closer, frustration tightening her jaw. Then, a flicker, a single moving signature along a cold riverbed. Her breath catches. Arjun leans in, eyebrows rising. She's heading north. Mira's expression softens, a fragile smile breaking through soot and exhaustion. She's not running, she whispers. She's rebuilding. The silence that follows feels sacred. The kind that comes before hope begins to speak. By twilight, the rain fades. Mist coils low over the river as Asha and Ravi reach the water's edge. The current glimmers faintly, carrying bits of burnt leaves downstream, fragments of their lost home. Asha lowers her head to drink, and Ravi mimics her, his reflection rippling beside hers. The river carries their image, their breath, their survival into the unseen distance. She looks up, scanning the horizon where the forest once stood. In her gaze is something unspoken. Grief, memory, resilience, and a quiet understanding that tomorrow will come, whether or not she's ready. The jungle's heart may be scarred, but it beats still, inside them both. The rain fades to mist, and the forest exhales. The air smells of wet charcoal and sap, a bitter perfume of rebirth. Asha and Ravi move through the softened light, their paws leaving gentle impressions in the soot-slick earth. The fire's scars glisten, veins of molten gold running beneath black bark. She pauses near a grove where the flames burned deepest, nose twitching. There's something beneath the ash, something she remembers. She digs carefully, clearing layers of damp soil until a shimmer appears, bone-white, small, fragile. The scent strikes her, faint, familiar. A fallen cub, her firstborn from seasons past. Her body trembles. Ravi leans close, watching. The tigress bows her head, pressing her nose to the earth. The fire took much, but gave her this, closure, not loss. On the ridge, Mira watches through her binoculars. She sees the tigress standing motionless, her body outlined in soft smoke. She's not hunting, Mira murmurs. She's remembering. Arjun stands beside her, hands deep in his pockets, eyes distant. Maybe the fire didn't destroy everything, he says quietly. Maybe it burned away what needed to end. The forest hums around them, low and steady, a heartbeat awakening under ash. Mira lowers the binoculars, her face streaked with dried soot and rain. "We can rebuild," she says. "If she can forgive us, we can begin again." For a moment, the wind carries no heat, only the scent of wet earth and something new taking root. Asha lies beside the shallow grave, the cub curled against her flank. The rain returns gentler now, washing soot from her fur. Each droplet carries light, reflections of dawn threading through the canopy. She closes her eyes and breathes deeply, chest rising in rhythm with the forest's faint renewal. Ravi stirs, his small body twitching in dream, unaware of the ghosts his mother has buried. For the first time, her gaze softens fully. Beyond the ashes, green shoots break through, tender, defiant. The jungle, like her, has chosen to begin again. Somewhere deep in the valley, a bird calls once, clear, unbroken, the forest's first true voice since the fire. At the control camp, Mira logs her final report. Her voice trembles between science and awe. Subject: Asha, female Bengal tiger, estimated age 8, survived the central blaze. Behavior indicates mourning and territorial reclamation. Cub present. Area shows regrowth. She pauses, looking out the tent flap toward the horizon. "This isn't survival," she whispers into the recorder. "It's devotion." Arjun steps in quietly, handing her a mug of tea. To her, this forest isn't home, he says. It's family? Mira nods. Outside, rain taps against the tin roof. Steady, forgiving, endless. By evening, light returns. Fragile, golden, trembling through the clearing's smoke. Asha leads Ravi toward the river's edge, the same one that mirrored their flight from the blaze. The water now runs clean, its surface reflecting the sky's new calm. She stops at the bank, lowers her head, and drinks, slow, deliberate. The cub copies her, his reflection merging with hers. The world hums quietly, alive again. As the sun sinks, she turns her gaze toward the forest beyond, burned, scarred, yet stirring with renewal. For the first time, she doesn't look back. Together they vanish into tall grass kissed by rainlight, and the forest, their eternal witness, breathes once more. Days pass. The forest, once charred to silence, hums again with cautious life. New shoots break through the ash, timid but unyielding. Asha walks along the river's bend, her reflection rippling with the current's murmur. Ravi trails behind, playful now, chasing insects that dance above the water. She pauses, senses sharpening, not to danger, but presence. Across the river, faint and still, stand two figures, Mira and Arjun. The wind carries their scent, foreign but familiar. Asha stares for a long moment, ears flicking, tail motionless. On the other bank, Mira lowers her camera, breathing softly, as if not to disturb a prayer. Two mothers meet in silence, one of earth, one of flame, and the forest holds its breath. Mira doesn't raise her camera again. She only watches. In that stillness, she sees more than data. She sees grace made flesh. Arjun exhales slowly, whispering, "She's not afraid anymore." Across the river, Asha's muscles ease. Ravi ventures closer to the edge, his tiny reflection merging with the sky's pale gold. The tigress lowers her head, a slow gesture of acceptance, not submission, but recognition. The humans stand rooted, unwilling to break the fragile moment. In the heart of the burned forest, two species witness each other, without the barrier of fear. For the first time, coexistence feels less like a dream and more like memory returning home. The moment fractures gently as wind stirs the grass. Asha turns, nudging Ravi toward the forest beyond the bank. Mira steps forward instinctively, one hand raised as if to reach across the distance. but stops. Some boundaries are sacred, even in forgiveness. Arjun watches silently, eyes bright beneath soot and exhaustion. "Let her go," he murmurs. The tigress glances back once, a fleeting look that holds the weight of generations, then disappears into the emerald haze of new growth. The cub follows, his small body melting into shadow and light. Mira lowers her hand, smiling faintly through tears. The wild has crossed the line, not into captivity, but into understanding. Night falls with silver stillness. The forest hums with the chorus of rebirth. Frogs, crickets, unseen wings. Asha lies beneath the half-burned banyan, her cub curled against her. Overhead, the canopy glows faintly with starlight reflected in damp leaves. Each sound, each tremor is familiar again. Across the valley, Mira stands at her camp's edge, notebook open. She writes not as a scientist tonight, but as a witness. She crossed the fire and came back with more than life. She brought the forest with her. The line smudges beneath her fingertip as the night wind turns her page. Asha lifts her head, sensing the same wind, and for a heartbeat, both breathe in unison. Dawn breaks again, gentle and forgiving. Mist clings to the treetops like memory, refusing to leave. Asha and Ravi walk through a meadow, reborn from ash, where the first flowers bloom, fragile, defiant. Beautiful. Mira and Arjun pack their camp miles away, preparing to leave the burn zone behind. From the road, Mira turns her head toward the hills. For a moment, she imagines she sees her, the tigress watching from the edge of shadow, eyes golden and knowing. Whether real or not, she smiles. Some stories are not meant to be recorded. Some are meant to be carried like embers within the heart. The forest sways with the wind, whispering its promise. Rebirth is never the end, only the beginning, remember. Weeks have passed. Rain has turned ash to soil and soil to life. The forest hums once more, shy, uncertain but alive. Asha moves through this reborn world with deliberate grace, her paws silent on damp earth. Ravi bounds ahead, his coat now golden again beneath filtered sunlight. Where the fire once howled, saplings rise, trembling with new leaves. She pauses at the old clearing, the heart of the inferno, now carpeted in tender green. The air is thick with the scent of growth, of forgiveness. Asha lowers her head and closes her eyes. In that stillness, the forest speaks, not in sound but in heartbeat, a rhythm she carries in every step. The wild, once broken, remembers its pulse. Mira returns to the ridge where it all began. The forest stretches below, alive with hues of green and gold, stitched together by rivers of fog. She sets down her camera, letting her eyes take in what no lens could capture: redemption. Arjun joins her, silent, the wind teasing strands of ash-gray hair across his forehead. "It's strange," she murmurs, "how the fire destroyed everything, and yet made it whole." Arjun nods, gaze fixed on the horizon. Sometimes, the forest needs to burn to remember how to live. Beneath them, the jungle stirs. Elephants moving through morning mist, the cry of a distant bird, and somewhere unseen, a tigress watching from the shadows. Down in the lowlands, Asha leads Ravi to a new den carved beneath an ancient fig. Its roots twist like arms, sheltering them from the damp. The cub tumbles clumsily over moss and stone, his laughter, soft and wild, echoing through the hollow. Asha lies down, eyes half closed, the rhythm of his play mingling with the rustle of leaves. Through the canopy, beams of sunlight fall like blessings. A butterfly lands briefly on her muzzle. She doesn't move. Everything here breathes the same quiet truth. Life returns not in triumph, but in peace. The forest has reclaimed its song, and she, its guardian, listens. In the research outpost, Mira's report plays over soft static, her voice clear, steady, reverent. The tiger population survived. One female, one cub. Their territory remains intact. Vegetation recovery exceeds projections. Fire scar area now supporting regrowth of native flora. She pauses in the recording. Then her tone softens. What science calls survival, the forest calls faith. The tape clicks to an end. Outside, wind rustles through leaves reborn from ash. Arjun stands by the doorway, watching the forest sway. "Shall never know we were here," he says. Mira smiles faintly. "That's how it should be." The forest answers with the sigh of 1,000 green leaves. Dusk. The forest breathes in gold. Asha stands at the river's edge once more. The sky aflame with sunset, not of destruction, but of light. Ravi splashes beside her. Chasing ripples, she lifts her gaze to the horizon, where clouds glow like embers suspended in peace. The reflection shimmers across the water, and in it 2 tigers, one full-grown flame, one flickering spark, merge as one. Above them, the first stars appear, faint and forgiving. The jungle hums, alive, eternal, whole again. And as night settles over the valley, the camera lingers on her eyes. Deep amber, endless. The fire is gone, but the ember remains, burning quietly, forever, within.